I am Daniel King, and this is Shit I Played. Listen as I regale you of the tale of the Shadow Warrior. Man, oh man. Shadow Warrior. Oh my lord. You know, this game completely flew under the radar for me. Um, I didn't see. I actually made videos and was playing through the game online, but then I realized that shit's not interesting and nobody cares. Much like the videos I make now. So nothing's changed. Great. Um, but I mentioned in the first video that I didn't know what this game was, and I saw Steam reviews, and and they looked really good. I saw the commercial and it looked insane. So okay, I did not know that it was a remake of a game that I played back in the DOS ages, or the golden ages of games, like the original Doom. It was a first-person shooter, almost exactly like Doom, with demons and everything, except it was like a Asian themed. It was like more like samurai and stuff. Now that was really cool to me. I never really finished that game. I played it a little bit, but this is not like that in a few ways. You play as a character named Wang, who is trying to get a sword for his boss Zilla. The sword is called the Nobutsura Kage. And this game starts out with him trying to buy the sword from the guy who owns it. You later realize that it's one part of many sword. It's one sword in a set of three, and you put them all together, and it becomes this one really awesome sword that, upsettingly, you only get to use for like 10 minutes at the end of the fucking game. It's still cool. I'm glad that I can get upset about a weapon that I don't get to use that much. I mean, that right there is a testament to how good the game is. Now, the game plays a lot like an RPG. There are elements of upgrading your powers, your skills, and your weapons, and you collect weapons along the way. You start out with just your sword, your katana, which you very early on get the first version of the Nobutsura Kage, the leather or something like that. And first weapon you pick up, other than that, is a pistol. And it goes from there, your pistol to submachine gun, shotgun, crossbow, flamethrower, and finally a rocket launcher. Now, of course, you're thinking, well, that's only keys 1 through 7. Well, there's more than just that, because as you kill demons, you can pick up demon hearts, which is fills up your number 8 space on your keyboard. Which basically any lesser demons that are in your path or on the screen, let's put it that way, you squeeze the heart and they blow up, which is kind of cool. The number 9 slot is reserved for the demon head, which is comes from this big Viking looking fucker with like axe and a sword, and he has like this grappling thing where he can pull you towards him, which is really fucking annoying. You after you kill him, you can collect his head, and it's got like 100 ammo to it, and what it is it's a laser that shoots out. That's really powerful. Enemy types in the game are also insane, but I'll get to that in a second. After you find the Nobutsura Kage and the old man that you're trying to buy the sword from, who tries to kill you, he ends up dead. You meet a character named Hoji. Now Hoji is basically Loki. Hoji is like Loki, and the banter between Wang and Hoji is probably some of the best like buddy cop. It's so funny. It's really really good. Um, Wang is just a smart ass through the entire thing, and Hoji is comparable. Like their banter is great. There's just there's a lot of really great like buddy cop chemistry between these characters. There's a lot of different side characters. There's two hottie twins. I don't remember their names, so oh well. Um, and they're not in the game very much. And then after you get to the end, you kind of realize that their whole thing was pointless. You don't even see them really. And Zilla is like the main bad guy, but mainly what the story turns into is like a mystical journey, and you're fighting. You have to kill these whisperers, which are dolls, basically life-size dolls with memories from these demons in Hoji's world. It basically is family. There's like there's the head guy. Don't remember, sorry, not good with names. I'm not even gonna try. There's the head guy. There's the headless guy, and there's the coward guy, and then there's Hoji. So those are like the main characters, and then there is the headless guy's girlfriend who looks like a deer, and her tears shower the land of this realm. But she is killed, and that's when this whole thing kind of starts. She's killed, and they invent the Whisperers to try to resurrect her, and that's what the three parts of the Nobutsu are for. You put them all together, and you can resurrect her. And that's basically the plot of the story is you're going through all these different guardians, which are these really well done boss battles, or I thought at first. Really what they are these big suits of armor that, and they're very, very choreographed. At least they're not QTEs. Basically flashing pieces of armor. You shoot that armor until the enemy kind of does a little shifty maneuver. It pops open, that piece of armor, and there's a crystal underneath, and then you start shooting the crystal or hitting the crystal until it explodes. You keep doing that usually about 4 or 5 times for each boss. And they're all the bosses are different, but they're all similar in that aspect. As I said, the weapons are upgradable. Some of the coolest upgrades are for the crossbow, which gives you sticky bombs, which you can shoot out like 3 consecutive sticky bombs, and then hit the fire key to make them all explode, which really come in handy against like big enemies. I found myself using the Nobutsu more than anything else because your powers are really good. You get 4 defensive powers and 4 offensive powers. So basically, you have your 4 defensive powers are you can heal yourself, so there's no real worry about death. You can heal yourself pretty rapidly, and as you progress through the game, when you first start out, you can only heal yourself to like 60, and then there's an upgrade, you can heal yourself to 80, and as you increase your health, that also goes up. So if your health is increased all the way to 130, you can heal yourself to 104. So you at that point, you're not worrying about dying. You can just do that. There's a shockwave, which is where you pound the ground and all your enemies fly up in the air and they kind of get stuck there for a second and just become targets. But it's really close range. There's a water thing where he does this and he throws it at you. It's called flux. He throws a force wave at you at the enemy and knocks them over, which is really good against like guys with shields. Those fuckers can be annoying. And of course, the last one is a shield, a literal shield, which I didn't use a lot at first because I was thinking, well, if I'm using a shield, okay, so I'm not getting hit. Till I realized that you hold the shield up with one hand, and with the other hand, you can still shoot weapons and cut with your sword. You can still do all the damage you want to, and then after you figure that out, you won't take a whole lot of damage anymore. Just upgrade that shield to 50% where you get 50% damage, then you're good to go. So your defensive powers are also pretty decent. They all involve you murdering a lot of people at one time. There's a power where you slide around with your sword like you do a big spin maneuver, and you basically cut in half anything that surrounds you. So if you have a bunch of enemies surrounding you, the good combination would be your shockwave, blam, everybody that's around you is now hovering and they can't move. Then do your wave and just slice them all in half. Because if you hit any part of one of the enemies, the lesser enemies, with that attack, they will die. It doesn't work too much on the heavier enemies, and I'll get into the heavier enemies in a second. Okay, so there is a move where you basically do a super pierce, and you charge it, and then you run up to them and you do a pierce, and they basically explode. Which is also a way for you to destroy statues to get around in the world. These statues basically are keys to doors. There is a special power where you can throw slashes, and that's really, really useful because you don't really need a gun at that point. The slashes are very powerful, and you can keep doing it as many times as you want. Now that I think about it, there should be a fourth one. What's the fourth one? I'm going to have to look it up. But, okay, so I'm going to have to amend my previous statement. There are actually only 3 offensive attack powers that you have. I actually had to go back to the games. I couldn't remember. I was like, I only used 3. What were the other 2? Basically, what it is your spin slash. It'll go one way or it'll go the other way, which is a waste. They really could have put another kind of slash in there or something. But anyway, so your enemy types. These enemies can be extremely annoying. There's Big Viking Guy, which I talked about, that has his little tether. And these guys take a ton of hits to take them down. There's the Shaman, which, if you've ever watched any of my Let's Plays, which nobody has, and you never will because I took them off the page, I scream a lot at the Shamans. I fucking hate Shamans. The Shamans and the Shamans. Both of them. I hate them all. Fucking Shamans. They're really hard to kill, and you're about halfway through them when they make this bubble around them that basically will push you away because it hurts you to be near them, which I had to find out the hard way because I kept trying to attack him and I realized my health was going down. But the worst thing the game does is even tell you about what this character is, because I kept killing all these waves and waves and waves of these grunt enemies. And I noticed that some of them are skeletons. And finally, Hoji says, "Hey, they're going to keep coming unless you kill the shaman." What the shaman does is just keep raising the dead. Which I thought at first that they can raise grunts. No, they can raise anything. So if you're in a battle with a bunch of different types, first thing you need to do is kill the shaman, because it doesn't matter who you kill, the shaman will raise them back from the dead, and you have to do it all over again. So kill the shaman first. The next enemy type is a charging enemy, which isn't that difficult. It's like this big rock monster that runs at you, And it took me a minute to figure out exactly how they wanted me to destroy him because I noticed my bullets were reflecting off of him. But there's a big red patch of crystals on his back. And you have to just keep shooting that. And the only way to do that is to basically let him charge into something, and he'll be disoriented for a little bit. You run behind him and you start shooting his back. Not that difficult with just one, but when there's two, it's so hard. Because just as soon as you get one disoriented and you're going around, you're going to shoot him. The other one is charging you, and he's going to fucking hit you, and it sucks. Because all these major demons, they do a lot of damage. One hit is like 20, 30 health. So it sucks. Like I said, there are these dudes with shields. They're not really hard to kill. They're just really, really annoying because their shield does absorb a lot of their energy. But once you start using flux and knocking them over, you got free range to just slaughter them, basically. Of course, I've already talked about the Guardians. All the Guardian battles are interesting. I will say that they're a lot of fun to do. They're really simplified, though. The very first Guardian, I had so much trouble trying to figure out what I was supposed to do, though. But once you kill the first one, the other was our breeze. I had no problem with the others. Of course, again, in a Let's Play that I did that nobody will ever see. Haha, sorry. So, the graphics are very good. I think the game is from 2013. And running on my PC with Ultra and running at 1440p, it looks really good. I have everything maxed out. I have the anti-aliasing ×8. It looks really good in the environments, but the character models don't look all that great. They really don't. Like, when you see character, you can tell that this is kind of a budget title. It's made by Devolver Digital. Same guys who they do a lot of budget titles like Hotline Miami 2, Serious Sam. And they won't let you forget that they did these games either, because there are actually those games in arcade form in the game, but you can't play them, which is sad. I was upset about that. I would have loved to have got a chance to play. You should have put in these arcades. There are these arcade games everywhere. You should at least, because you can put coins in some of them, you should at least have it to where you can play the game. But no, all it does is do screen flashes on the screen of the arcade game, and you know that's what the title is. I would like to have played a level from Hotline Miami. I understand you don't want to put the whole game in there. That's fine. But you can Hotline Miami has like 10 levels. You can put one level in it, and then we get a taste of what your other game is, and then we might buy it. Same thing for Serious Sam. You know, I've never played Serious Sam. I don't even know what. It's a game I've heard of, but I've never really been interested in. The sound design is great. You can actually play the audio, and it'll allow you to auto detect. And I have a really nice set of Logitech headphones that has 7.1 surround sound, and it automatically detected that it was 7.1 surround sound. So the game sounded really well. It sounded really good. Other than that, there's not too much to talk about. I don't want to get too involved with the story because I literally took 4 or 5 months to play this game. I was playing a little bit at a time because I was trying to do Let's Plays, and then that kind of fell through, and I didn't want to get back to it. But I finally did, and I went back to it and just finished the whole game out. And just like, okay, I'm just going to play this game because I love it, because I enjoy it, because it's gory, good fun. It's good. It reminds me of like the white guy karate movies from the 80s and 90s. It's really good stuff, and you can tell that it's supposed to be based in somewhere in Asia, but it's so Americanized. Everybody speaks English. Wang is the only one with an accent, really. Zilla kind of has an accent, but everybody's speaking English, but then I don't have a problem with that. American Chinese video game it works awesome. And there is a sequel coming up, and I'm super excited. It comes out this year. I'm not really sure when. I know there was a reveal at the E3 back in 2015, back in June of 2015. I know there was a huge reveal for it. I'm really looking forward to it, especially because it has 4-player co-op. And I would love to get online and play this with my friends. I would love to do that. It would be awesome. But, you know how these co-op games go. I hope they don't, kind of turn into a Left 4 Dead or Vermintide kind of game. But if you really think about it, there's not a lot of difference between those games and the single player of Shadow Warrior. It's kill enemies, go there, do a thing, then kill some more enemies, push a button, kill some more guys, destroy a statue. And that's kind of how it goes, and that's the fun of it. The fun of it is just the slaughter. Killing these demons is fun. It is great. I can't. I highly recommend it. I bought it for like $20 on Steam. I highly recommend it. If you aren't sure about the series, it is $20 on Steam. If you don't play on PC, it's also available for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. They were kind of launch titles that nobody really heard of. And they're also $20 retail and in the store, in the Xbox One store and in the PlayStation store. So check it out. It is so worth the money. I would have paid, if I'd have known this game existed, I would have paid $60 for this game. It's that good. Like, it's the best first-person experience I've had in a very long time. And I've been playing a lot of open-world RPG-type titles, like Witcher and Witcher 3 and Fallout 4. And actually playing something linear, but still has a lot of content. Like, each level was taking me an hour and a half to complete, and there's 17 chapters. That's a good amount of content where I feel like I got my money's worth. But it's good content. It's not grindy content. And I'm getting so sick of the grindy content. I kind of like that I was going through a story. Oh, and here's the plus side to it, guys. Once you beat the game, you can play the game in X mode, which allows you to keep all of your upgrades and weapons and play through the game again and raise the difficulty up a little bit and try to, which I figured they would do, because I didn't get every single power skill, every upgrade for the weapons, because I wasn't collecting enough to gather all those in one playthrough. It's impossible. So basically, if you want to get all of the great weapons and upgrades to those weapons, and if you want to get all the great skills and powers and just become a beast, you're going to have to play through it again. But I would recommend upping that level on your second playthrough, upping the level up a little bit, because, you want to make it at least somewhat challenging. Anyway, well, that's it, guys. Shadow Warrior. Check it out. It's great. Play it. Do it. Now. Go now. Go play it. See ya.